about foot care, we talk about washing the feet, caring for the feet. It's a service really you do for yourself if you want to feel good. But I learned in my practice there are lots of people, they enjoy having pain. They do not pay any attention. They think it's normal to hurt. And they have no clue that the shoes they wear are not proper for them. That you can have a dress shoe for a dress occasion, but you don't wear a dress shoe when you walk or go shopping, unless you enjoy pain. Because most shoes do not, a dress shoe does not accommodate really a lot of walking. And there is also, I said, cleaning the feet, having your shoes and socks, fitting properly. And socks is also part of foot care. In the olden days, they wanted you to wear cotton socks. But the reason is because cotton didn't have any dye in it. They were white cotton socks. And the cotton sock they absorb moisture, and then you are wet all day long because the foot sweats half a cup each foot per day for healthy human beings, And so we are progressing to a blend in socks. It's highly recommended that you have a blend that is a little bit of orlon or nylon, and they have a different texture. So the moisture goes into the shoe, but your feet are dry. And so what do you do then when your feet are wet? Well, they have, there is baking powder that you sprinkle in your shoes overnight. You sprinkle it in, and then when you want to wear them again the next day or the following day, you just dump the baking soda out. It's the easiest deodorant that you have and absorbs moisture. You all live in humidity here in Georgia, and I saw that people put this in buckets, in closets where there is no air condition, and so this is a very good moisture. It is also cleansing, disinfecting. This is a wonderful way to keep your shoes dry. But this does not eliminate fungus. It is, once you have a fungus, fungus only lives in moisture. And there is no other way, and people say, oh, I went to the pool and whatnot, I believe, you get a fungus when you sweat a lot and you don't take care of it. And people, they have also those insoles for the shoes in order to, where did I got all the slides, so it's good is to show you. I worked all afternoon yesterday to get all this together. See, they sell those little things to put in the shoe. These are those Dr. Scholl. For $1 you can get them. And I see people, they buy them, so it's a little cushioning and it feels good, and it absorbs the moisture. But then they never change them or never wash them. This is to take out, but I won't say every day, but to take it out every 3 or 4 days, put a fresh one in, while this one is squeezed out in a bit soapy warm water and put to dry. So you buy 2 pair, one in the shoe and one to dry and wash. So, but these are very helpful as long as you change them. Otherwise, you're just accumulating bacteria. At the drugstore. Everything I have, you can get at the drugstore. There is nothing that is for prescription. It's all available for in the drugstore. And so, with the socks, you know, I brought some different socks just to show you. People, they have poor circulation and swollen feet. They would go and have a sock that does not have a binding rubber here. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they do sell socks, you know, they are without this rubber here. If you have some that you don't want to throw away because you didn't think about it, what you do, you just simply, if the sock is too tight and you see a ring on your feet, you take your scissors and you just cut through the rubber. And et voila, don't throw the socks away, you know.
Go where?
Pardon?
Go to where?
Cut where?
Yeah, cut up
top,
here.
the top.
Just make a little snipple in it
Oh, okay.
that relieves the pressure of the rubber. But you don't buy another one like that, you know, where you have to do that. You just buy one where you know it is not binding, you know, that this is all loose.
What fabric are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting, you know, a blend. You know, a blend of cotton and orlon, nylon, wool. Where there is wool in it, like this, they're very expensive, you know, but this is a Cadillac. You know, it's not a Toyota. When you have a woolen sock, you're really, you know, this is absolutely the ultimatum. I paid for those socks $12. But they last you a long time, you know, and of course they're very thick, they would never fit in your dress shoes. But I'm talking about everyday shoe wear, you know, and for warms, even in the home, you know. A wool sock, they make not 100% wool. There's always a little blend in it, you know, because 100% wool would be itching and biting, you know. And I wore those when I grew up in the wartime. My mother knitted our woolen socks. And then there are little socks for at home, or when you want to sleep with a sock to stay warm. Be sure they have maybe a little bit of a rubber there so you don't slide, you know, and fall in the bathroom. And so that you can buy those too with little tiny knobs on it, so you avoid sliding, you know. So and they're nice and soft and easy to wash, and they dry. My socks personally, I never put in the dryer because I believe, you know, the socks last longer if you do not put them in the heat. And today with the modern wash machine and the centrifuge, you know, you just take them out, and I just hang them over my laundry basket, you know, so I have them in the afternoon or whatnot. And I just found this in my night table. One friend wanted me to bring her those socks from America because you can put all your toes in it, you know, and she believes that when you sleep with those socks, that it helps the toes to straighten out. So there are all sorts of things, you know, if you get interested, you know, but they sleep in those, you know, and then it over the time, the months, it might, you know, help to straighten out the toes. I don't need it, so when I put it on, I just felt it's a little bit uncomfortable for me. But this is, I thought this is cute, you know.
Is this with the socks, or since this has the openings for every finger?
Yes.
Is it a sock?
It is
Where
really
do you
a sock
see it
to
in
wear,
the store?
to wear over the feet, you know. And this, I got that in the drugstore. And so you
in
put
the drugstore.
the toes are coming out, and these are in between the toes.
Okay, now I know.
It's just to spread
Okay.
them out a little bit and to keep them straight. If people have tight, you know, if the muscles are a little tight from wearing, you know, kind of pointed toe shoes, you know, then this should allow to spread it out a little bit. So lots of little gadgets.
What it is.
And then I'm talking about also in foot care about exercises. Foot exercise is the alpha and omega of good health, because when you exercise your feet, you know, that pumps the blood back up all the way, you know. It strengthens your muscles, the exercise. And by strengthening your muscles, you are better balanced. You know, you have a much better balance. But for that you need muscles. And our muscles, they all are getting weak as we age. You know, breasts are sagging, arms are sagging, you know, cheeks are sagging. So the same thing is in the muscles of the feet. And because we are over-civilized, we need to do something about it. You know, everybody's cardio. They're going to the gym, you know, for their heart muscle, you know, and pump it up, and they want to have muscles here and there, but the feet are so important too. And foot exercise is actually walking barefoot in nature. This is what exercises the feet. Also, with that exercise, when you step on pine cones, twigs, roots, you know, little gravel, in the sand, on the beach, you know, when you go barefoot there, you know, you can feel that stimulation, you know, and what happens, this gravity, you know, we get all a little sandbagging here in the between the muscles and the bone structure, and that is called arthritis, you know, and it is from diet and just living. This is just part of life. And so those little places in here, they hurt us, you know, and they cause pain and friction. When you exercise, you know, you are able to get all that stuff out. Then you drink water and flush it through the system. People, they are not able to go out barefoot, and most of us don't do that anymore, you know. There comes a time, you know, where you protect your feet and you're not used to it. It hurts too much. So they go online and get a foot roller. And so you have a foot exerciser. And you, by sitting at home in your living room while you're watching the news, while you're knitting, while you're mending your clothes, while you're folding the laundry, while you're making your phone calls, you simply roll your feet. And that increases your circulation and gets rid of all these little acid crystals. So about those acid crystals that we really all have, and I have them too, but I don't am allowed to stay there and accumulate to rocks and stones. I call it like a little sand in there. It is the diet and lack of proper exercise. And the diet, we miss drinking our water. The water is so important for us to clean our system daily, you know, to flush it. And products like sugar and white flour and, you know, that all adds, you know, to sedimentation in the feet, but that's a big chapter, the diet. But feet are the diet is important for the feet too. So if you just try to drink your water and stimulate the feet by exercising. Some people, they use a broom handle or a Coke bottle if they cannot get a foot roller, you know, but I see foot rollers are available everywhere, you know, you just play with it, you know, you put those spools back and forth. Then they go they use a broom handle or a Coca-Cola bottle or something. And some people, they have pain, that heel pain, or that pain, you know, in their, they have that plantar fasciitis, they call it, you know, have you heard of that word? Yeah. You can freeze a plastic bottle with water, and then you put that bottle on the at home on a towel, so it's that, and you just roll your foot on that ice. That's very medicinal and healing also, and feeling good if there is an inflammation. And that is also so simple to do. You don't need much, you know, to roll your feet on a little ice, and so it's very helpful. With heel pain, in my practice, I have had lots of patients. They came with severe pain in their heel, and they could often not walk in the morning. And mainly in the morning, the pain is very intense. And so, it is because the tendons are shortening here, you know, and it's just part of life again. So if they use then a little heel cushion in the shoe, you can buy little cushions. You know, I don't have a proper cushion. I didn't find one in my repertoire. I gave them all away. Everybody has a heel pain sometimes. So, but they sell little cushions in the drugstore that you put in the shoe, but you would put it also in the other shoe, because to be balanced, you know, and that will help. So you don't re-injure that pain in the heel. It's usually a little accumulation of those little sand kernels I told you, you know, that is just settling down with gravity, you know, or an injury, you step on a rock or whatnot, you know. So this helps the pain, but the proper, what really heals it is stretching your Achilles, you know. And everybody sees these runners stretching against the wall, you know, where they stretch in the back there, where you get that muscle stretched. I mean, even that you can talk a day about it, you know, but I'm just going on the surface. People, they have pain on the ball of the foot, you know, and so they should consider wearing an arch support to lift the arches forward, also because your muscles have not been exercised properly, you know, or they are constant in the shoe that it does not allow any motion in it because it's too tight. And so when you exercise, you keep all that mobile and flexible, and if then through life, you know, you get the pain on the here in this area below the toes, you go and get an arch support that has a metatarsal pad. And metatarsal pad look like this. You know, here you can see it better. This is an arch support I have, and then I put that little pad there to lift the toes up, you know.
Is that, what do you call it, the metatarsal?
Metatarsal arch support.
Arch support.
However, and you can ask me always, you know, this is like the amen and the prayer for me. I would never get an arch support like this again. You know, I made a mistake. I only will get one this size. You know, it's a 3/4 size. The reason is, if you get an arch support that big, it fills out the toe box here too. And even if you have the biggest and widest shoes, even those will make it a little tighter. And then you get little pressure areas on top of your toes. So this is, I would not recommend unless it's designed by an orthopedic and whatnot, then you wear orthopedic shoes. But I don't think any of us need orthopedic shoes. We are not crippled, you know. But some people are crippled from accidents, severe rheumatoid arthritis and whatnot. But if you go for an arch support, always go for a 3/4 length. That means if you put it on, if you put it in your shoe and you go in the shoe, this might slide forward. Then the support is in the wrong place. So you sprinkle a little powder on it and use a shoe horn and slide nicely into it, you know. So you just need to get a shoe horn. Shoe horns are the best thing you can ever invest, you know. A shoehorn helps a lot to save your shoes, and also, you know, it's very comforting to have a shoehorn. And then they have all sorts of arch supports. They have then also some things like this, you know, for warmth. If somebody has cold feet, you know, this is a felt. And then they have arch supports like that, also a 3/4 one. But this is rather flimsy. You know, I think, you know, you're wasting your money when it doesn't have good support, you know. This is pretty flimsy, but they sell them too because they cost less, you know. But this is good leather and lasts you a long time until the foot changes.
It's leather, did you say?
Leather, yeah, yeah. Yeah, all those 3/4 arch support. I have plenty because I believe in arch support. And then, see, you can buy those little pads that you can put also in your shoes when you have a dress shoe, where this wouldn't fit in. You know, then you just put this one in the dress shoe under your toes to lift the toes up. There is so much you can do for comfort. I'm talking about happy feet. I'm talking about not having pain. You know, nobody needs to be in pain. You know, but you have to understand yourself and you have to listen to your body. And you have to go to sources and investigate. And you can go to a doctor, but he cannot take your pain away, and I cannot take your pain away. I can teach you why you have pain and what to do about it, and can help you mechanically because I am trained, you know, but you can always ask for help if you're not able to do your own toenails and whatnot, you know. I didn't bring my foot pain, you know, for foot soaks. I recommend a nice little bucket, you know, for $2 in the drugstore or grocery store. They have those foot basins, and you use soapy warm water to soften the skin, and it's a good way to wash because mostly it's the dry dead skin that hurts us around the toes, you know. And you wash them, soak them for about 20 to 30 minutes. You can use a brush, you know, before you take them out in the water, put a little soap on it so it doesn't hurt so badly, it slides better. I told a patient, I want you to get a nail brush to brush your nails with, you know, and to get all this stuff out to clean them, and it's very helpful. Half an hour later, the drugstore, what was it? The hardware store calls me, and he says, Miss Noonan, there's a gentleman here, you know, and he wants a nail brush for his feet. What shall I give him? He went to the hardware store for a nail brush. So I learned my lesson. But anyhow, these are very inexpensive, very good to keep your nails clean, and also it helps the circulation. Brush your feet, you know, it's wonderful. Then some people, they have really hard, dry skin, so they can use maybe one of those things in the water, you know, when the feet are soft, when the skin is soft, you can use that and just ripple off a little bit on the heel, or if you have a callus, then everything, be sensitive about it, you know. You have a callus, you know, that is sitting there for 6 months. So they think if they soak their feet, you know, for 30 minutes, and then do this, the callus is gone, because you can hurt yourself and really injure yourself, because the synchytis gets the callus off, so they rub so long until they bleed. And a callus is just a combination of dry skin. Or you have calluses here, and here is very common, you know, on the big toe. This is just because your balance is not proper. That's why you get those pressure areas, you know, on the feet. And so that's why I would tell you, think about an arch support, a lift in the shoe, or change the shoe. Maybe the shoe is not right. And shoe is my last chapter because it is a big one. And so you can, once you have developed the callus, gently pumice it off. There are pumice stones too, you know, that work perfectly in the water. Put a little soap on it, the skin is softened up, lean forward, and just go to work with a little pumice stone. What doesn't come off today comes off tomorrow. You layer it down, you know, your pressure area, and then you moisturize it, put some ointment on it, something good that sticks with you, and then an old sock, so you don't get your carpet all dirty, you know, and or the linen is better when you put oils on it, you know, for nourishment. And if you go barefoot, you foul, you slide, put an old sock on and let it soak in, and it's easier to wash a sock than to wash your carpet or change the whole bed. in my vocabulary. Then there are powders. You have powders if you are very sweaty and you feel like you want to keep your feet dry in the summertime, you know, when you wear sandals and all that. I do sometimes sprinkle on my sandal a little powder to keep me drier so I don't stick to the leather in the sandal, for instance. You know, powders are very efficient, and they are medicated powders. They are baby powder. They are medicated powders. But if you have developed a fungus, something that itches, you know, and has little blisters and you want to scratch, you need a powder that is antifungal. No medicated powder will help you. You need a powder that's called antifungal powder. It's written there. And so the antifungal powder, also in the drugstore, costs, instead of $4, costs $11. And that's why some people say, oh, I take the medicated one because it's cheaper. Who wants to spend $11? But if you have already a fungus, you know, in between the toes when it's kind of raw and whatnot, invest in the more expensive powder that says antifungal. But there are very few. There's only maybe one powder thing there in on the drugstore that says antifungal. They are not, you cannot choose from brands. There's usually only one. But they are very, very effective. And they heal, and you put it also, however, in the shoes. You know, of course, I showed you the baking powder, but this is just for sweaty, wet feet. But if it is a fungal situation, you would use in the shoes also the powder, the antifungal powder. Creams are out there for fungus, fungal creams, you know, but you cannot put the cream in the shoe, you know, so I only have one thing, it's powder, you know, that goes in the shoe and on the, in between the toes and on the bottom, so it just makes it easier. For drying the feet, I dry mine with an old washcloth that is thin and worn out and has been washed 20, 100 times or whatnot, you know, because you can reach better in between, you know, than with a big towel. And also when there's dry skin here often, that causes a pain in the big nail, you just rub it down a little bit, you know, with this you have it easier to clean the feet. And are we okay this time?
Yeah, I just want to listen. No, you're fine.
Can I finish up with these?
No, I have the room until 12, so you
Okay,
can,
okay.
you're fine.
Up there, so.
Yeah, thank you. People with circulatory problems, you know, when the circulation and cold feet, you know, aching feet pain, one of the nicest things we have is rosemary. Plain old rosemary. Rosemary stimulates the circulation. And rosemary is wonderful for your grandchildren because rosemary, just the smell of it is invigorating, stimulating. It activates the brain by just rubbing it a little bit and smelling it and having, you know, on your desk, you know, while you do your work and whatnot. And if you put it in hot water, make a little tea out of it, you soak your feet in it, I'm telling you. I'm a believer in rosemary. The reason is, you know, I'm also a herbalist, so I went to school and they said this is stimulating, invigorating and all that, you know. So I make me a good bath of rosemary leaves, you know, and soak my whole body in the bathtub, you know, and just enjoy it. And I was up till 4 in the morning. I was so stimulated, you know, so it works. I know it works because I don't drink coffee after 3 o'clock, you know. But that rosemary was really, and my patients, they all said, Miss Noonan, those rosemary baths for my feet, they are just, you just soak them for about 20 to 30 minutes, you know, and it's so cheap, you know, in your neighbor's garden, just pick a couple of sprigs. I have my plant on my patio, and if you don't like to fool with that, they also have essential oils of rosemary, you know, and you can put a little bit, you can put that in the bath water, or you can put it on a little cotton ball and just have it in the kitchen somewhere, you know, or on your desk. It is so refreshing, and it's really, rosemary is a wonderful herb to have. What else did I collect here? Oh, I forgot to tell you, tea tree oil. Tea tree oil is also, today you can get it in every drugstore, and even in the grocery store I see it. The tea tree oil is oil from the tea tree, and originally comes from Australia. But I just visited my nephew in South America, in Buenos Aires. He has a garden with those trees, and he makes his own oil, you know, because he's a believer. He uses that also as an antiseptic. But this is definitely the best antifungal. And people, they have a hard thing to heal wounds. This is also very good. Before we all had methylate and mercurochrome and iodine, and what did we have also? That other one, you know, that when I first came to America, well, all these home remedies that people had in their cabinet. Now everything is, this is it, you know, it's the tea tree oil. And a little bit goes a long way. I personally don't like the smell of it. So I'm very stingy. But for my patients, I use it a lot, you know.
Excuse me, it's wonderful
Yes.
for bee sting.
Is it really?
If you get
See?
a bee sting,
Bee sting,
just...
a little dabble, a little oil on it.
And another thing is, it's wonderful for poison ivy.
For poison ivy.
We had a friend that got
Yes.
poison ivy
Uh-huh.
from here, and he was itching like everything. And I brought him in and put that on him. The itching went away, the red went away.
Yeah, I hear miracle stories
Yeah,
about the
it's
tea tree
wonderful.
oil. Miracle stories. And one thing also I find in my goodie bag, the Epsom salt. Epsom salt for aches and pains, and for if you walk too much, and it's just really the ankle is hurting and the foot is hurting, and you just want to go and stuff your face with food to feel better and have a drink. Put your feet in Epsom salt. This is really, and the whole body too, you know. Epsom salt has wonderful healing power in it. And this is also available in grocery stores and drugstores. It's a bit heavy to schlep home. But one handful, a big good handful for a foot soak is perfect, you know. So this is also something to remember. And but this is not part of foot care, but I have here lavender oil. Lavender oil I use for patients, they have no feeling in their, they call it neuropathy. When you have no feeling in your legs and they just, if it's hot or ice cold, they're not aware of it. And they don't feel even if they have a bruise or an open sore, because it's neuropathy, and usually it happens, it's a byproduct from diabetes. I hope you're not taping all this, because I'm not a doctor. I'm just talking from my heart, you know, from my experiences. But the lavender oil has been so good for patients to massage their legs, you know, all the way. When I talk about leg, it's the foot up to here, you know, with that lavender oil, because lavender is it has the power of soothing. It's unnerving. Do you know what nerving means? It's for the nerves, you know. It's wonderful for the nerves, you know. And when I'm a little jittery, you know, and I'm nervous, you know, I'm sniffing a little lavender oil, you know, to balance me, you know. I shouldn't have taken it this morning to be more balanced. But it was the traffic.
Oh, really?
Now, here